powerful coastal storm slammed into North Carolina this week, unleashing tropical storm force winds, torrential rain, and dangerous surf across the Outer Banks and surrounding communities. Though not classified as a tropical cyclone, the system packed a punch reminiscent of a nor'easter, leaving behind flooded streets, collapsed homes, and mounting concerns over long-term coastal erosion. Cape Hatteras and Buxton bore the brunt of the storm, with wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour and rainfall totals reaching up to 5 inches in some areas. An unoccupied oceanfront home collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean on Tuesday, marking the 12th such collapse in 5 years due to relentless erosion along Cape Hatteras National Seashore. Seawater surged inland during high tide, flooding roads in Virginia Beach and Norfolk, and pushing the Lynnhaven River past major flood stage. The storm's low-pressure center hovered just offshore before drifting inland, dragging moisture from the Atlantic and triggering widespread flood watches across North Carolina, Virginia, and parts of the mid-Atlantic. Hazardous beach conditions, including rip currents and high surf, persisted throughout the week. The National Park Service, NPS, along the Cape Hatteras National Seashore is warning people to stay away from the beach in Buxton, North Carolina, after an unoccupied home collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean Tuesday afternoon, the latest chapter in a relentless battle against the waves of the Atlantic. This is the 12th house to collapse along the seashore in the past 5 years, according to the NPS, a result of ongoing beach erosion. The NPS said some debris still remains in the area. Visitors are also being urged by the NPS to avoid the north end of Rodanthe due to the presence of similarly threatened oceanfront homes. The collapse comes after a coastal storm lashed the North Carolina Outer Banks earlier this week with heavy rain, coastal flooding, and strong winds. The NPS said certain homes in the villages of Buxton and Rodanthe are now in an intertidal zone, an area that is exposed during low tide but partially covered by water during high tide. Many of these homes were previously completely on dry dunes. The collapses are caused by daily exposure to winds and tides, and the homes are particularly vulnerable during any kind of coastal storm, according to the NPS and the Fox Forecast Center. The NPS even submitted a report to Congress in December 2024 detailing the ongoing battle against coastal erosion, and the state released a similar report earlier that summer. According to the NPS, it is working with Dare County to encourage homeowners to relocate if possible, using money from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, a congressional program established in 1964. The NPS purchased and demolished 2 vacant properties in Rodanthe. Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray reported from the Outer Banks last November during the second most recent collapse, also during a coastal storm. Ray became stranded after water from the Atlantic Ocean overtook the local highway. While Ray was seeking higher ground, he said his photographer, stationed in Rodanthe, saw the leftovers of a home that had collapsed overnight. It sounded like a heavy, strong tropical storm was pounding the Outer Banks, Ray said. You could hear the building sort of making banging noise and water hitting off of the glass and the windows pretty extensively. It felt like we were headed into the beginnings of a hurricane. The Dare County Government and State Department of Environmental Quality will hold a question and answer session with oceanfront homeowners Thursday. A powerful coastal storm has lashed Virginia Beach, causing extensive flooding, widespread power outages, and major disruptions for residents and emergency services over the past 48 hours. The non-tropical system brought tropical storm force winds and dumped over 8 inches of rain in some parts of the city, overwhelming drainage systems and inundating streets. The storm's impacts were compounded by a high tide that pushed seawater inland, exacerbating the flood crisis. The severe weather, which began on Monday, September 15th, and continued through Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, prompted Virginia Beach public schools to implement a 2-hour delay and forced the closure of some city facilities. Authorities continue to assess the full extent of the damage as the storm begins to push north. The coastal storm arrived on Monday and unleashed a relentless barrage of heavy rain and wind across southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. By Tuesday, rainfall totals were staggering, with more than 7 inches measured in the Oceana area of Virginia Beach. This impressive rainfall, paired with strong onshore winds, created a double threat of flash flooding and coastal flooding. Videos and photos submitted by local residents captured the severity of the situation, showing neighborhoods and major thoroughfares submerged under several feet of water. In the Windsor Woods neighborhood, a familiar area for flooding, residents faced significant inundation, with reports of stranded vehicles. The Bow Creek Recreation Center was forced to close due to flooding, and several major intersections, including First Colonial Road and Oceana Boulevard near Naval Air Station Oceana, were shut down. In addition to the rain-driven flooding, the storm's powerful winds created a significant storm surge, particularly along the region's rivers and coastline. The Lynnhaven River at the Lynnhaven Inlet reached major flood stage on Tuesday, cresting at just over 6 feet. This influx of seawater mixed with the heavy rainfall to create a toxic flood mix that proved difficult for the city's drainage systems to manage. The National Weather Service issued a coastal flood warning for the area, and officials advised residents to turn around and don't drown when encountering flooded roadways. Despite these warnings, some drivers attempted to navigate the high water, leading to stranded vehicles and requiring rescue. The widespread flooding put a spotlight on Virginia Beach's ongoing battle with rising sea levels and the limitations of its current infrastructure. Even as the city invests in flood mitigation efforts, such as the Flood Protection Program approved by voters in 2021, persistent weather events like this storm expose vulnerabilities. The city is actively pursuing projects, including a large-scale pump station in Windsor Woods, but experts say that with both sea levels rising and the land subsiding, the challenge is immense. As local and federal agencies work to develop longer-term coastal storm risk management plans, the latest flooding serves as a stark reminder of the city's exposure to natural hazards. Crews will be working to address debris, restore power, and reopen roads in the coming days. The event also serves as a potent reminder for residents to stay prepared, as the region heads into the most active period of the hurricane season. While a potential tropical storm, Gabrielle, is being monitored in the Atlantic, officials say it does not pose an immediate threat to the U.S. coast. For now, Virginia Beach officials and residents will focus on recovery from the latest storm and continue to brace for the future challenges that come with living in a coastal community on the front lines of climate change. A coastal storm moving over Maryland is expected to bring heavy rain, gusty winds, and cooler temperatures to parts of the state Tuesday into Wednesday, according to the latest forecasts. Spotty sprinkles and light showers have already made it to the immediate Washington, D.C. area, but a low-pressure system moving north along the East Coast is expected to bring additional and much-needed rainfall to parts of the state experiencing abnormally dry drought conditions, the National Weather Service said in a short-range forecast discussion released Tuesday. According to the latest AccuWeather forecast, the system is expected to bring 4 to 8 inches of rain to parts of the mid-Atlantic, including eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia, through the middle of the week. The storm could develop tropical characteristics as it moves inland, potentially spreading rain into the Interstate 95 corridor up to New York City. In addition to heavy rain, Beach communities from North Carolina to New Jersey will likely experience rough surf, dangerous rip currents, and minor to moderate coastal flooding during high tides, AccuWeather forecasters said. The system is forecast to stall tonight into much of Wednesday over eastern Virginia to eastern North Carolina, according to the National Weather Service.
Hill of sand is all that's...
The slow and meandering movement of the system will support potential for additional heavy rainfall amounts across northeast North Carolina into southeast Virginia and the southern Delmarva Peninsula, with two-day totals of 2 to 5 inches possible. According to the Washington Post's Capital Weather Gang, the Baltimore region is expected to have mostly cloudy, cooler, and breezy conditions with intermittent sprinkles and showers developing from southeast to northwest. A rumble of thunder is possible on Tuesday afternoon. Some areas, especially from D.C. to the northwest, may not see much rain, the Capital Weather Gang said. Rainfall could range from about 0.25 to 0.5 inches south and east of D.C. to barely wetting the ground north and west. By Tuesday evening into the overnight hours, showers should become more consistent region-wide and could be heavy at times, forecasters said. Northeast winds are expected to reach 10 to 20 miles per hour, with gusts of 20 to 35 miles per hour possible, especially east of Interstate 95. Cloudy skies and showers will linger into Wednesday and Wednesday night, with winds from the north and northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour and gusts near 25 miles per hour. Storm total rainfall could range from as little as 0.25 to 0.75 inches north and west of D.C. to as much as 0.5 to 1.25 inches from D.C. to the south and east, the Capital Weather Gang said.